Hey everyone, this is my 12-month review of the best-selling air fryer on Amazon. This is the Cosori Max XL 5.8 quart air fryer. I bought it over a year ago for about $120, and that's a lot of money. So this will be a very in-depth video that'll hopefully answer any questions you might have. I'm covering everything from the controls, how much space it'll take up on your counter, how to use it, how to clean it, and much, much more. So sit back, relax, and let's do this. The size is pretty important. Let's start with the dimensions. That way you know how much of your counter it'll take up. For the height, it's just over 12.5 inches, about 12 5/8 of an inch. For the width, it's about 10 3/4 of an inch, which is a little under 11 inches. The depth is about 11 inches. That doesn't include the handle, which extends out about 2 3/8 of an inch. Here's a rough, quick overall look at the size. Also, the cord length is about 3.5 feet. Now, the air fryer basket is said to have a 5.8 quart capacity. I'm going to give you the basket's interior dimensions, and then you'll have an idea of what size cookware you could put in it, if you choose to. The width of the basket is about 9 inches by 8.5 inches. The depth of the basket is about 3 3/4 of an inch, but the depth to the max fill line is about 3.5 inches. This means the basket could fit an 8-inch round cake pan, and you could bake a nice cake with it, which is awesome. As far as the weight of the air fryer, it's a hair under 12 pounds. Before we cover how the air fryer works, I want to address a common worry of people when they first use their new air fryer. You'll probably notice a plastic smell the first time or two that you cook with it, but that's pretty normal, and doing the recommended test run before you first cook with it should take care of that smell. When you pick a place to put your air fryer, make sure it has some space around it, and definitely don't put anything on top of the air fryer. That's because this is an intake vent that runs all the way around, and when you cook, air is pulled through this vent into the air fryer to cook your food. That same air is then blown out the back of the air fryer through this exhaust vent, which means it's important to have this area clear of anything as well. Cosori recommends at least 5 inches of space behind and above the air fryer. Let's plug our air fryer in, and we'll learn about the controls. There's a bunch of preset cooking options on the control panel, but don't be intimidated. Most people, including me, don't even use them. Here we have the steak button. This is for chicken. This is for seafood. This one is for shrimp, and this is for bacon. They're all recommended presets. You can adjust them however you like. Let's talk about the preheat button. When you press it, it always defaults to 400 degrees, which takes 5 minutes. To change the temperature that you want to preheat to, simply press plus or minus, and the time will automatically adjust. Then you'd press the start pause button for it to preheat. Once it's preheated, it'll beep 3 times, and you can add the food and start cooking. But you know what? A lot of people don't preheat. It's completely up to you. If you don't preheat, you might just have to cook the food a few more minutes than the recipe calls for. But a lot of recipes will tell you if you should preheat or not. Let's move to the right side of the control panel. Here are some more unnecessary buttons. This snowflake is the frozen foods button. I definitely wouldn't recommend using this. Frozen foods can vary wildly in cook times and cook temperatures. This is for French fries. This is for vegetables. This button is for root vegetables. This is for bread. And this is for desserts, another very vague button. Like I said, these are optional buttons. As a matter of fact, I've bought some frozen foods with air fryer instructions, and they specifically tell you not to use the preset buttons, but to use the recommended temperature and cook time that's on the food's packaging. In the middle of the panel, these are the buttons we need. This will turn the air fryer on or off. This lets you set your cook time and cook temperature. The plus and minus buttons are used to adjust your cook time and temperature. So if I wanted to cook something at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, I'd press the power button to turn the air fryer on. Then I'd press the temp time button. I'd change the cooking temperature to 400. Then I'll press the temp time button again and change the cooking time to 10 minutes. Now I'll press the start pause button to start cooking my food. Here's a quick tip. To make adjustments with the plus or minus buttons, you can keep pressing it, but the beeping each time can be annoying. What you can do instead is hold the button down, and that way there's less beeping. Just like that. And finally, there's a keep warm button, and this simply will keep something that you've cooked warm. I've never used this button because I always eat immediately after cooking, but I'm sure some people do use it. Now, I'm hungry, so let's cook with it, and in the process, I'll cover some other details. For the sake of a full walkthrough, I'm going to preheat the air fryer. First, I'm cooking a raw frozen burger patty. I'll preheat it to 400 degrees, and the display tells me it'll take 5 minutes. Once it's preheated, we'll remove the basket, but you'll notice the basket doesn't simply just slide out. There's some resistance, which is a good thing. That way a kid can't get into it as easily. I've seen some people hold the air fryer back with one hand and pull the handle with the other, which works. I prefer to use one hand. I'll pull the handle and at the same time use my thumb to push on the air fryer, all in one motion. The basket is metal, so it will be very hot. You don't want to touch it or set it on a surface that can't handle heat. My tabletop is not heat resistant, so I always set it on a trivet. Then I'll add my burger patty, and I'll put the basket back in. Again, there's a little resistance when putting the basket in. I need to set my cook time and cook temperature. Then I'll hit start. Halfway through cooking, after about 5 minutes, I'm going to flip my burger. Okay, there's 5 minutes left. All I have to do is pull the basket out. The air fryer automatically will pause itself. I'll flip the patty, then push the basket back in, and the air fryer will resume from where it left off. I don't have to press any buttons, which is nice. Anytime you're cooking and you want to check the food to make sure it's not being burned or overcooked, you can pull the basket out, check the food, and pop it back in. It's that easy. Once it's done, the air fryer beeps 3 times. Always make sure your food is cooked to a safe temperature, meats in particular. I'm going to cook some frozen fries to go with my burger. But first, I know that burger dropped a bunch of grease while it was cooking, and I'd like to clean out the bottom of the outer basket. To remove the inner basket, I'll push this plastic piece forward. Then I'll press down on this big button. Now, I'm going to give the bottom a quick wipe with a damp paper towel. After I do that, I'll put the inner basket back in. It'll lock back into place. I'll slide the clear plastic cover back over the button. Trust me, you never want to press that button on accident. You can make a mess if the 2 baskets separate unintentionally. I'll add my frozen fries and set my temperature to 400 and my time to 14 minutes. I'll shake some foods, like fries, every few minutes or so. This helps them cook more evenly, especially if you cook a bunch of them at a time. I'll demonstrate it here. Remove the basket, shake it, then put it back in, and the air fryer picks up where it left off. Now, my fries are done. I'll eat real quickly, then I'll show you how to clean the air fryer. Well, I'm back. Let's take a look at how to clean it. My basket has cooled off, so I'll take it over to the sink. Remember, both the inner basket and the outer basket can be put in the dishwasher, but I prefer to hand wash them after each use with warm water, a rag, and dishwashing soap. Dishwasher detergents can sometimes be harsh, so I always prefer to hand wash so that the nonstick coating will last longer. Cleaning the basket is simple. It's just like washing anything else. And if, for some reason, your air fryer unit is dirty, it can be wiped with a damp cloth. The same goes for the inside of the air fryer. The unit is definitely not meant for a bunch of water, so a slightly moist cloth will have to do. Here's some more things that you might find helpful. The temperature range is from 170 degrees Fahrenheit to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And the time range is from 1 minute all the way up to 60 minutes. You can change the temperature reading from Fahrenheit to Celsius by holding the temp time button for 3 seconds. And if you turn the air fryer on and don't press any buttons for 3 minutes, it'll turn itself back off. But it's still always a good idea to unplug your air fryer when not in use, or really anything with a heating element. So really, I don't have any complaints. It does what I need an air fryer to do, and I haven't had any issues so far. If you decide to buy one, I'll have a direct Amazon link below in the video description. Even if you don't buy the air fryer, anything bought through that link will give me a small commission which supports the channel, and I really appreciate it. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and thanks for watching.